What's up, guys? Welcome back. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good holidays. First card of the year, we got Amanda Ribas versus Mackenzie Dern 2, the rematch. It's been a while. I've been missing the fights. Happy to get back into it and get back to doing what we do and smashing our picks and making some money. So let's get into it. First fight of the night, we got Joe Solecki versus Norello Aliev. Aliev is coming in as a hot prospect. Not really fought anybody. That's kind of the theme of this card. There's a lot of hot young prospects coming in here. Great records all around, but they haven't really fought the competition. Joe Solecki, obviously a great grappler. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to snatch a submission here. From what we've seen from Aliev, he's not a big finisher, so there's a potential. This is kind of a boring fight for position, but Aliev should be the one who is dominating wherever it goes. I don't like the odds, and I ain't going to be playing it, put it that way. But who's going to win? Aliev should win the fight. What do you think?
I think Aliev should win the fight too. He's basically like a poor man's Khabib. Good wrestling. Doesn't go for the submissions. It's always position over submissions. Striking's not too bad. Neither is Joe Solecki's, but none of them do too much on the feet. You know what I mean? It's more like jab, jab, punch, punch. Where Joe loses this, I think Aliev has the better wrestling, and we've seen Joe being controlled from on top. He's a great grappler. He won't get finished, but minus 500 is probably warranted here, but I just don't trust him in his first fight. That's all. I think he wins though.
Next fight of the night, we got Victoria Dudakova, 8-1 versus Fatima Kline, 6-1. This is a pretty classic striker versus grappler in this specific matchup. Dudakova has looked pretty good on the feet, and she's looked pretty terrible at keeping it there. Fatima Kline she lost her last fight to a very tough Jasmine, but she had her moments, and she was very competitive. And I just don't think Victoria Dudakova would be competitive at all. And I just think at the end of the day, Fatima Kline is going to take her down pretty much at will, I believe. Now, these odds have shifted big time. Now she's a minus 700 favorite. I know when the fight opened, she was a minus 200. I should have hit her then at minus 700. I don't want to play that, but I do feel very confident that she should be able to get this done. Women's MMA, the odds are way too wide to play. Normally, with odds like this in women's MMA, you would actually take the dog, but I just can't here. I think Dudakova has zero takedown defense. Gas tank's not great. I think Kline's a dog. What do you think?
I think Kline wins. Don't get me wrong. Both of them don't have the greatest striking in the world. Kline, she's actually not bad, and Dudakova is not bad. Now, Kline should win, but like her takedowns aren't that great. Like if you look at her wrestling, it's not that great. So that's where my hesitation is. I would never lay set minus 700 on Kline anyway. If you're going to play this fight, you might as well play the underdog if you really, really want to play this fight. Because if there's a weakness, I think I think her takedowns aren't that great. I don't think her wrestling is that great, but her grappling's pretty damn good. But whatever. I still think she wins because Dudakova's not great either. But, this is someone that just lost her second fight in the UFC against someone that's been in there a couple times. And I believe won a fight. I can't even remember. I didn't look into this too much because I'm not playing it. But I do think skill for skill, it's going to be. Actually, I think it's going to go a little bit longer. I don't think there's a finish here. So if you want to go later on in the fight, go ahead, play the over. But probably getting shit on that too.
A Kline subs live. But yeah, it absolutely could be women's fight. They usually do go over. Next fight of the night, we got another one of these prospects we're talking about. We got Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, 9-0, coming in at minus 250, and he's taking on Bruno Lopes 13-1. Bruno is the more dangerous. He's got all the finishing upside. He is a finisher. But when you look at, it's hard not to look at common opponents. Gadzhiyasulov beat Ribeiro. Bruno lost to Ribeiro. That you can't do MMA math. But you got an undefeated, hot prospect, a ton of hype behind him. Hasn't fought any big names, but you got to believe that he's going to get this done. Bruno's nothing special. He can finish, like I said, but there's nothing there that is spectacular. He's kind of just an explosive guy. But Gadzhiyasulov, more technical everywhere. Give me Magomed to win the fight, and minus 250 might not even be that bad of odds. What do you think?
I don't think minus 250 is that bad at all. Actually, in this fight, Magomed, though, he's not much of a finisher. So, Lopes, go back and watch the Dana White Contender Series fight. Go watch back his other fights. He's plodding. He's slow. He has power, but he's slow. And my thought is that he's not even going to catch Magomed with one of those punches. He's just going to stay out of the way. If Lopes wants to actually win, he's got to, because Magomed actually doesn't have the greatest takedown defense if you go look at some of his fights. So if Lopes wants to employ the wrestling, which I don't think he's smart enough to be quite honest, he might win that fight. But Magomed against Ribeiro, I cashed on the plus over 1.5. It was plus money. I believe I don't think the finish is on the table. He's not a finisher. Like people want to say he's a finisher. He's not. He likes to drag these fights on. He might take down Lopes and just move around with him. I think that's a good bet here. If the plus money on over 1.5 is there, I'd say take it. But I also think the minus 250 is good on Magomed to win this. He's the better fighter. Overall, better ground game. I think the better wrestling. And I also think the cleaner striking. Much faster, too. Like the speed is going to be on point for him.
All right, next fight of the night, we got Ernesta Kareckaite, 5-1-1 versus Nicole Calliari, 8-2 from Brazil. Honestly, guys, this is a very low-level fight. Like these, I think they're both terrible fighters, to be perfectly honest. The fact to me that Ernesta Kareckaite is the favorite at minus 250 when she lost her last fight to Diona Barbosa, whatever that girl's name. You know who she is, the skinny girl who kind of volume strikes but doesn't hit hard, has no takedown defense. Like that girl is not good. Diona Barbosa, whatever. You know who I'm talking about.
She's
She's
the
not good.
Brazilian girl, yeah.
She's not Belbita. Sorry, Belbita is right. Is that her name? Belbita or
No,
something?
it was
Diona.
Barbosa. You're right. It was the Barbosa girl.
Whatever. She's not.
Yeah.
She's not good, man. So for me, Kara Kate at minus 250. I don't know how she's a 2 or 3 to 1 favorite. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I get it that Cagliari is not great or so. I think they're both. I think it's a low level fight. In a low level fight, the odds should be closer. I think. So for me, it's almost dog or pass. It's going to be a pass. It's going to be a pass. I'm not playing it. I think they both stink. What do you think?
Now, I think you're right. Kara Kate is like I thought she really stunk, and then she fought that Dana White Contender Series fight against Carly Judas and put on one hell of a volume show with Carly Judas. So that was a crazy fight. And then in that last fight, she really got owned in that first round by Barbosa, but the subsequent rounds she held her own. Now here's the thing: she's the striker with shitty takedown defense, absolute crap, and then Cagliari is the grappler, is the jiu-jitsu girl, is the wrestler, is the person that could take her down. And I think that's going to be the game plan. And plus 200, you can do worse than taking a shot here. To be quite honest with you, I think the grappling and the wrestling is in her, and she wants to go and employ that all fight. And when she gets on the ground, the Cagliari girl, I watched, she goes for it, man. She wants the armbar, she goes for the submission, and she'll go for it. She's going to sit on the ground, sit in position. I like that because, I don't know, is Kareckaite really gonna fucking swim with her on in the jits in this? I don't think so. I don't think she can flow. So yeah, give me Cagliari. Give me the dog in this one. I can't see, like, your points are right. I can't see why this girl's minus 250. She's minus 250 and Gadzhiyasulov is Magomed minus 250. Give me a break. It doesn't make any sense, right? So.
Exactly. I agree. Moving on, welterweight division, we got Preston Parsons, 11-5, taking on another one of these hot prospects that not a lot of footage, not a lot of competition against him. Jacoby Smith or Jacob Smith, I don't know how you pronounce it. Either way, he's a power puncher. He's a specimen. He's a good athlete, much better athlete. Preston Parsons, obviously good submissions. And I think you don't ever want to call somebody out on here, but I think he's kind of a juicy fighter. Sometimes he looks juiced to the max and he's fucking ripped and fucking suspicious looking. And sometimes he looks deflated and like, you're like, what the fuck? That's not what he looked like last time he fought. So he's a guy I can't trust. At his best, Preston Parsons has put on some very good performances. We're like, damn, this guy's pretty good. And then the very next time out looked like absolute horse shit. Now, I just don't like betting on guys that are that inconsistent. I'm going to have to go with the athlete here. I'm going to have to suspect that Smith will be fast and strong enough to keep it standing, or at least be the one on top, to not get taken down, to not get himself in a dangerous position where he risks getting submitted. So I'm going to say Smith does not get submitted. He hits hard as hell. I hope he knocks Preston Parsons out. I don't know if he will or he won't, but either way, I think he'll be either on top or be dictating where it goes. I just don't love the odds of minus 350 on someone that we haven't seen face this level of competition. But Smith is the pick. What do you think?
Smith's a pick. You're right. 350 on a guy that hasn't fought really anybody at this point in his career. You're right. But He is the athlete. And in his last fight, he did take the guy down 7 times and finish him on the ground. So, I mean, Preston Parsons, he's supposed to be this like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, ground guy expert, but if he can't get a guy down, he can't win a fight. I'm not sure that he's strong enough to take down Jacoby Smith. To be quite honest with you, he barely got Oban Elliott down, and he tried so hard in that fight to get Oban Elliott on the ground. And Oban Elliott is half the size of this Jacoby guy if you look at the tape, man. So I think strength is on Jacoby's side. I think power's on his side. Quite honestly, I think he's just good. At worst, he can hold him up against the cage. At worst, he can take positions. That's at worst, right? So yeah, give me the athlete here. I really don't think Preston Parsons has the striking or the strength to keep this animal off of him. That's all.
All right, moving on to the 155-pound division. We got Thiago Moises, 18-8, taking on Trey Ogden, 18-6. The odds kind of surprised me, just kind of because their trajectories. I feel like I haven't seen Moises win a fight in a while. I'm sure I'm wrong on that. I'm just not looking at the records, just going off my own memory here. Seems like he's always kind of losing. I mean, he's been fighting killers, Benoit Saint Denis. He's just always in there with tough guys. And Trey Ogden seems like he's always grinding his way to the most boring goddamn victories ever. I think Moises has the volume on the feet. I think he's probably the better submission grappler. I know Ogden's a good grappler in his own right. I think Ogden, to win this fight, is going to have to play, again, that boring ass wrestling style where he just kind of holds him down. I don't think he's going to submit Thiago Moises. And I don't think he's going to want to stand and get in a strike for strike match either. So he's going to want to clinch. He's going to want to grind, make it a Trey Ogden fight. And I mean, I feel like he probably can do that. So at dog odds, it's very tempting me to take Trey Ogden. But my heart is with Thiago Moises because at least he's a fun fighter. At least he's going to try to do something. I mean, his punches are looping. They're a bit wild. They're not necessarily technical, but he's a funner fighter. I'm rooting for Thiago Moises. I say the value is on Trey Ogden. Right now, undecided if I'll play it. But I think that, yeah, like I said, hearts with Moises, value on Ogden. What do you think?
I don't know, man. This one's a tough one because I think Moises might be the better striker here. I know Ogden's got the jab and the 1-2, but it's nothing special. Uh, I think it comes down to the wrestling. Tiago's shown that he can be taken down a little. He got taken down by fucking Ludovic Kline. That was a bad look, man. But he's shown that he can be taken down a little bit in some of his fights, right? So that raises a little bit of my eyebrows here. Like he got taken down by Denis, but like that's Denis, right? So now what my problem is that the guys that are taking him down are like the top of the top, like it's a Makashev. And I put Ludovic Klein as like a climber here, man. So like people discount that guy. I think he's better than people actually give him credit for, right? So the last time this guy faced a prospect like Ezekiel Costa, he wiped the floor with him, right? But a guy like Joe Alvarez beat the shit out of him, right? So how does that look? Trey Ogden is like I don't know what he does right. I don't know what he does well. It's a 50-50 fight. I'm going to pick Moises because I think he's the more all-around better fighter. But if he gets taken down, this can be just that grindy, stupid fight that you were talking about. Because that's what he did against Loic, right? Loic's a pretty good friggin' wrestler too, right? And he didn't get taken down by Loic. But Loic didn't push any grappling until it was like later on in the fight, to be honest with you. But Ogden also looked kind of shitty in that third round. He kind of tired out as that fight went on. So he tires out against Moises, and that's a problem here. So I'm going with Moises because I think he's the better fighter. Ogden just doesn't do it for me in this spot.
Ogden doesn't do it for me in any spot, but for the purpose of picking someone, I'm going to take Ogden by decision. But I hope he loses.
This is not a fight to bet on, folks. I don't think this is a bet on. I don't think this is a parlay fight. I don't think this is one that we need to put on any of our cards, to be honest with you.
All right. Next fight of the night, we've got, well, we know this one should be in a finish, I hope. We got Marco Tulio, 12-1, taking on Ihor Potieria. I'm pretty sure the odds are super wide last I looked.
They were.
Yes, so we got minus 500 on Silva, and we got plus 380 on Ihor. Call me fucking crazy. Like, I get it. Like, any pick in an Ihor fight is going to be that he gets knocked out. But I think he has a chance here. I swear to God, I think he does. I think, he's been Yes, he can get knocked out for sure, but he hits hard himself. When he wins by finish. When he loses, they're usually the pretty big guys. I mean, Carlos Ulberg, the other big giant juice. Like he's been getting beaten by big motherfuckers. This Marco guy's 6 foot. He's not taller than Ihor. Like I don't know, man. To me, it's absolutely possible Marco knocks him out first punch of the fight. Absolutely possible. But at these odds, at minus fucking 500 or whatever he is, I don't think he's the killer that some of those other guys were. And I think Potieria does have a slim chance to finish him. Like, as crazy and dumb as that sounds. I'll be looking at all the unders. I'll be looking at possibly a first round, possibly a second round. I think this finishes, but the odds are too wide. If anything, for me at these odds, it's Ihor by finish, single stab, not a parlay pick. I just don't like these odds at all. So I'm gonna go against the grain here. What do you think?
These odds suck. Tulio can very well knock him out, but it's not like Ihor just goes down, right? Cesar Almeida couldn't knock him out. Yet to win a unanimous decision. Marshall Pereira guillotine choked him, but that's Michel Pereira, right? He beat that Brychek guy. Bellotto, he had on skates in the first round. If you went back and remember that, should have actually fucking finished him in that first round. And Bellotto came back because he has a heart of a lion. If you ever watch his fights, and he doesn't give up. But Ihor kind of slows down as the fight goes on. We don't even know if Marco Tulio Silva is gonna be able to go down. Carlos Ulberg beat Ihor, but he should, And Ihor beat Rua. He beat Sadolski in the Dana White considered, and he lost to Nico Mariano by a knee, right, in the second round. So what we do know about Ihor is that he can take a punch. He's not a pussy. I don't know about this guy Tulio Silva. He's fighting cans, if you ask me, fighting cans. So yeah, I don't mean I'm gonna pass the fight. I like the unders. I'm picking Tulio Silva to win because I think Ihor is actually not that good, and
Who's that?
but like he has been showing a little bit. So the pick is Silva, but if I'm going to bet the fight, the bet's going to be on Ihor, but I don't know if I have the balls to pull that one.
All right. Next fight of the night, we're going to the 125-pound division. We got Jose No Way Johnson, 16-9 versus Felipe Bunes, 13-7. Um, Jose's in trouble anytime he faces someone who's going to take him down. He's very easy to take down. He can be submitted. He can be controlled. But he is a threat to anybody on the feet. And the way Philippe fights is he kind of obliges in a firefight, even when he shouldn't. He kind of just walks forward and he'll oblige and fight you at your thing. So, I mean, I think if Philippe was smart, of course he would shoot takedowns, and I think he'd have a chance at winning the fight. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to march straight forward and walk right into a big punch or something like that. I never like betting on Jose as a favorite. To me, he's kind of like an underdog who can play spoiler because he can crack in a favorite spot. Not sure that I want to bet him, but I am going to pick him to win this fight because I don't think Felipe is going to grapple. I think he's going to walk right into a fucking striking match here. What do you think?
I think the opposite. I think he's going to grapple. I think he
Well, he's
grapples.
good.
He's going to push those takedowns. He should have kept pushing them on Joshua Van. He was doing all right in that first round. Arguably, that fight was very close. And he did fight Joshua Van. That's a lot better than anything Jose Johnson's ever done in his career. And he fought Joshua Van pretty good. Van's actually a very good fighter, right? So it was a nice little measuring stick. Felipe Bunes coming up there. So I do think he pushes the wrestling. Now with Jose Johnson, it's just like you don't have to push great wrestling with him. You just have to push wrestling with him, right? So that's the difference here. Like there's going to be zero resistance. I think the plus 162 is a gift, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, I'm gonna take if I'm gonna play an underdog, my favorite underdog of this card is Felipe Bunes to use his wrestling and either grapple fuck or submit Jose Johnson.
That's definitely the path. If he's smart, that's what he'd do. All right, guys, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please please subscribe. We do appreciate it. First fight of the main card, we got Punahele Soriano, 10-4, who has recently dropped to the 170-pound division, and he is taking on Jaros Medic, 10-2, and he is a pretty deadly striker. This is a fight where both guys are kind of hit and miss. Soriano has had performances where he gassed so bad and just looked terrible. And then he's had ones where he hit crazy hard and looked like a power puncher. He's had ones where he pulled out his fucking wrestling card and wrestled his ass off, and that's what he needs to do here. Soriano needs to take Medic down. He cannot strike with him. He will probably get knocked out if he strikes with him. And I just don't know what we're going to get here. I mean, I think he does have a clear path to winning this fight. So I think there is value on Soriano if he wrestles. But like I said, gas tank's kind of suspect. Sometimes he's just huffing big time. If he gasses out, he will get finished. So I mean, the Medic knockout is tempting. The Soriano over is tempting because for him to win, he's not gonna knock Medic out. I don't think. I know he hits hard, but I don't see that happening. So I think the Medic by knockout, Soriano over 1.5. They're both kind of calling my name right now. What do you think?
I like Soriano here, actually. So, like, all his losses and all those bad fights came at the higher weight class. That last fight was the first one against Baeza. It was like a total domination on the ground. And we all know Medic, he's not the greatest on the ground. So, if Soriano is I believe he's a D1 wrestler. I believe so. So, like, he's got that wrestling background. Now, he drops down to weight. Maybe he wasn't wrestling before at the higher weight class because the cardio wasn't there, and he knew if he wrestled, he won't be able to go the whole fight. But he wrestle fucked Miguel Baeza and hit him 144 times. Most of those were ground strikes, to be quite honest with you. 5 takedowns, if I believe so. And that's the same path of victory here. And if he's going to do it on his first drop down to 170, I'm gonna back the plus money here because Euros, Medic, and Alaskan FC fighters. I don't know if I put too much into that. And every fight that Medic has had, even the ones he's won, I believe like there's points that he wasn't winning. You know what I mean? Like against Omar Morales, he had to come out with that knockout in round 2 when I think he was getting controlled. Against Semmelsberger, that was a pretty damn close fight too, right? The Means fight is the Means fight. Means is old and shit, so I don't really count that as too much. So, no, man, if Soriano comes out here with that wrestling game plan, the same wrestling game plan he pulled against Baeza, easy peasy win here for Soriano, if you ask me. So, I'm going Soriano on this one.
Yeah, the value's there for sure. Next fight of the night, we've got another one of these hot, young, rising prospects. We got Austin Bashi, 13-0, taking on C-Rod, 11-2. Rodriguez is kind of known for just being that tough, grizzled kid that usually loses round 1 and waits for his opponents to punch themselves out or something, and then he kind of takes over. Unfortunately, I do not think that's going to work here because I think 13-0 Austin is a freak athlete. I don't think he's going to tire. I think he's going to be able to take him down at will. I think he'll be able to control him. I think he will gas C-Rod out. I think C-Rod's going to look kind of soft compared to him, to be honest. And there's just going to be a speed difference. There's going to be a power difference. I just don't think he's going to weather that storm and come back here. I don't see Austin fizzling out. I'm going to take the superior athlete. Obviously, we need to see him in the big stage at the UFC level, fighting names. But this is a good, I guess, appropriate step. This is to get this fight right off the bat. It's a good step. Minus 275. I mean, it sounds crazy for him to be that big of a favorite over C-Rod, but I see it. I think there might even be value here. What do you think?
I think there's value. I think he's the better athlete. I think the striking, he has better striking. So C-Rod's like the prospect killer, right? That's what he is. I don't think he won that fight against Bulgarian, to be quite honest with you. And the fight against Raul Rosas, he gassed. Rosas gassed. And
That's all that happened. Yeah.
That's all that happened there, right? So if you look back at Bashi's fights, he has the cardio. I think he has the superior striking. He definitely has the superior wrestling. And once he's on top, he doesn't. You telling me C-Rod's gonna triangle him or do something from the bottom? No, So yeah, man, I minus 275 from everything I've seen in Bashi's tape. C-Rod can't do it. And all those wins that C-Rod had before, there's always a little asterisk beside missed weight. Did something happen there? So I mean, like that last fight against Julian Erosa was his legit first fight up at the new weight class, right? So didn't look so good, to be quite honest with you. But that's not the measuring stick I'm looking at. So go strike for strike. I think Bashi's the better striker. I think he's the better wrestler. And kid me not, I think he's the better grappler. So yeah, I like the minus 275.
All right, next fight of the night. I think a lot of people will be looking forward to this one. We've got Chris Curtis, 31-11, taking on Roman Kopylov, 13-3. Chris Curtis coming in at plus 200, Kopylov minus 250. I'm on the Roman side for sure. basically Chris Curtis to win this fight is going to have to use his wrestling. I think that's the only way he can win this fight. Obviously, he does hit hard, so I shouldn't say the only way. Sure, he could knock anybody out, but the problem is he doesn't throw a ton of volume. And Roman Kopylov is a very good striker. He should not be in the pocket and getting caught. This is Roman's fight to win. He should be able to pick him apart with the striking. And I can't trust Chris Curtis to wrestle. I can't trust Chris Curtis to throw a ton of volume. So I like Roman in this spot. I would love to see him knock out Chris Curtis because I find Chris Curtis kind of a salty guy. He seems to always be making excuses.
As fuck.
Yeah, exactly. He really rubs me the wrong way. I'd love to see a Kopylov knockout. That being said, Chris Curtis has shown a chin, so it's probably a Kopylov decision or a Kopylov over in some kind of form. But at some point, Chris Curtis's chin is going to have to give up. That something's going to have to give out here. But either way, I do like Roman to get it done. I'm on Roman. What do you think?
I'm on Roman too because Chris Curtis, I think, has only shot a takedown in like one fight. So like that's not gonna happen here. I think that what that's gonna happen? It's gonna be a kickboxing match. Who's the better kickboxer? Roman's the better kickboxer. Chris Curtis is a fucking counter striker. Let's be like right about it. Speed's on Roman's side, techniques on Roman's side, volumes on Roman's side, and this is gonna be a standing fight. Chris Curtis is waiting for the one punch but he's gonna be too slow. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to counterpunch unless he's got this guy's timing down, which I don't think. I think the speed is the key here, right? Roman showed that he has great speed, right? The guys that have beaten him are guys like Hernandez who have that gas tank that just pull through, you know what I mean? Anyone else, like what the fuck he did? He showed a little wrinkle in his thing with Caesar. I think he could fucking wrestle here if he wanted to, but I don't think he will. So... because Chris Curtis sports a pretty damn good takedown defense. But yeah, man, kickboxer for kickboxer, you pick the better kickboxer. Let's go.
All right, next fight of the night, featured fight. We got Abdul Razak Alhassan, 12-6, taking on Cesar Almeida, 6-1. Alhassan's coming back at plus 240, Almeida minus 300. To me, these odds are absolutely insane. Look, Cesar Almeida, crazy kickboxer, wicked kickboxing pedigree, dangerous as hell against anybody who wants to stand and trade with him, but he's shown pretty bad takedown defense personally. And if you look at all of his rounds in the UFC, he's lost more rounds than he's won. Even in his victories, he's losing rounds left, right, and center. So there's a very clear path for Abdul to win this fight if he grapples. Now, I'm not big on Abdul. Like, don't think for 2 seconds I like Abdul. I don't. In fact, I want to see Cesar Almeida get the knockout, but I think these odds are extremely biased, extremely like they're too wide. I think everybody thinks Cesar Almeida might be the next Poatan or something. He's not. He's a fantastic striker with poor takedown defense. I don't know. I don't trust it. At these odds, I don't trust it. I think the value is on the dog. I swear to God, I do. Sure, Almeida could win by knockout. I don't see any props. I'm on Bet365 right now. There's no props. So, if he comes back with a plus money knockout, maybe you take that. I guess that can make sense. But right now, the value bet is on the underdog to use his grappling. It's a very clear path. I hope Almeida wins. I do not like Abdul, but I think if you're betting it, for me, it's dog or pass. What do you think?
The only problem with the takedowns from Hassan is that he's a fucking judoka, and you have to get close to the guy to fucking take down guys like that, and he doesn't have wrestling, to be honest. So, like, I think if Caesar just holds his distance with his jab, he'll be fine in this fight. That's the way I look at it. I see your path to victory here. I think Caesar's the better fighter, like striking wise. I don't think Hassan can take him down. Hassan doesn't really take anyone down, to be quite honest. I think it was that Joaquin Buckley fight that it's the first time I ever seen him taking anyone down.
Didn't he just ragdoll Cody Brundage?
Yeah, did he rag? Oh, this is Cody Brundage, though. I don't really. God, fucking Cody Bumridge doesn't count. Yeah, but Caesar's gotten up. Even Roman Kopylov couldn't keep him down. You know what I'm saying? Even the guys that took him down, where he knocked the guy out in this first fight, that fucking bum. I can't remember his name.
A bomb.
Yeah, it was a bomb. But like Kopylov, I don't see it. Hassan at 39, gas tank of a mule. I just can't see it. He being a judo guy, not a wrestler. If he was a double leg wrestler, I'm all day on that. But
listen, I want the Almeida knockout as much as anyone. I just think he's lost too many rounds to be a minus 300.
I get you. The odds suck, but you're right.
Okay. All right, guys. Co-main event of the night. We got Santiago Ponzinibbio, 29-8, taking on A Train's boy Carlson Harris, 19-6. A Train's boy.
From
uh,
Guyana, baby. We don't get many of those guys.
uh, listen, I don't have much faith in Ponzi against too many people. I think his chin is gone. Like he's old, his chin's gone. But I think he doesn't really have to worry about that here. I'm sorry to say it. Like I am sorry. I'd like to see your boy win here, but I think this is a fight that Ponzi should win, and I think it's a fight that there's value on. To be honest, he finally turned into a little bit of a favorite. Like earlier today, it was a dead
Mhm.
even pick 'em. The thing here is, I just think that he is the better striker. Carlson Harris has fantastic chokes, but I've never really seen Ponzi get grapple fucked. So I don't necessarily think he's going to get grapple fucked here. I don't necessarily think he's going to get choked out. And in a striking fight, I just think Harris's punches are kind of looping, and I think Ponzi's just the slightly better, more effective striker. Obviously, Ponzi's been losing a lot of fights, but split decision to Jeff Neal. There's nothing wrong with that. A split decision to Michelle Pereira. Got caught against Jing Liang Li, but he's a big hitter. Like I just don't think Carlson Harris is going to put his lights out, and I don't think Carlson Harris is going to catch that choke. So I actually see value on Ponzi, and you'll never catch me say that. I almost always bet against him, but I kind of think there's value here on Ponzi. What do you think?
Yeah, there is. He's the better striker. He's probably the better wrestler, and probably might not be the better grappler, but I don't know if he wants to fuck with Carlson Harris on the ground, though. You know what
No,
I'm
no,
saying?
no, he
Like,
doesn't.
I don't think he, even on the bottom. So that's what Carlson Harris does. Who was it? It was like a couple fights ago. He's losing, he's losing, he loses every single minute of the fucking round. It was Jeremiah Wells.
Gets that
Every
choke.
single fucking minute of the fight, he lost, and then he wins because that's the way he does shit. That's the way he's going to win this fight if he wins. He's not the minute winner is by far Ponzinibbio. The better fighter is by far Ponzinibbio. The more skilled fighter is by far Ponzinibbio. My pick is Ponzinibbio, but don't count my boy out. I'm not betting this fight, but don't count him out. He'll just pull it out of nowhere. And Ponzi's known to slow down. Ponzi's known to put himself into bad situations. So who knows? I'm not betting this fight for because I don't bet on things like the Packers. I don't bet on favorite things. Only John Jones because he hasn't lost in ever. So
He will if he fights Tom.
I don't think so.
All right, guys. Main event of the night. We got Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas, the rematch. Dern coming in at 14-5. Ribas coming in at 13-5. Ribas won the first fight, and I believe she wins the rematch as well. I think they're both obviously very good grapplers. If they can get on top. And I don't think neither are great at getting on top. If anything, I'm going to say Amanda's the better wrestler. I think. I don't think Mackenzie Dern's wrestling is all that great. I think they're both capable of being knocked out. Like they've both been cracked and got chinny and chicken danced a few times here and there. But I don't think either of them here have huge power to do that. Like I think Hebus is in trouble of getting knocked out against any striker, but I don't think Mackenzie Dern has that kind of striking to knock out Amanda Ribas and catch her. So I think this is more of kind of like a point fight more than anything, I guess. And I just think the volume and even the technique I think will be on Amanda Ribas' side. Mackenzie Dern can be a bull. She can be a dog. I'll give it to her. She will rush forward, crash the pocket, try to make it a grinding fight. She'll try to grab the legs. She'll try to whatever strike with her, but I just don't think she's going to be very effective. I don't think. Um, I'm not even sure that I like that this is 5 rounds. But either way, I think Amanda's just the cleaner striker in a fight that will be more striking than anything else. What do you think?
And then Ribas, I rewatched that first fight. She didn't give a fuck about the grappling Mackenzie Dern in that fight. She took her down whenever she wanted to. It was mind you, it was only twice, but she didn't care about taking her to the ground. She didn't give her any credit for her ground game there, right? Granted, Mackenzie Dern has striking has gotten a lot better than that fight that they fought in 2019. Her striking is loads better, but Amanda Ribas is better. Amanda Ribas also sports 85% takedown defense, and Mackenzie Dern, if I'm wrong, I think it's like 20%, 16% takedown accuracy in the UFC. That's a bad number for a girl that's known for her grappling, you know? And Amanda Ribas has shown that she doesn't give a shit what spot she's put in against Mackenzie Dern or any grappler that she can out grapple. And like you said, who are the people that knock her out? The Macy Barbers, the fucking Marina Rodriguezes, the girls with big power in their hands. Mackenzie can swing, don't get me wrong. But in all those fights where Ribas got knocked out, it wasn't just one punch. It was a collection of a bunch of punches, right? That's the one thing Mackenzie can't do is put a bunch of punches together, right? So, because like, okay, so she puts her in trouble. What's Ribas good? Probably shoots a takedown. Dern doesn't mind getting taken down. Probably gets taken down, and the Ribas will right out the top, right? Because she's not going to get submitted. I don't think so. So yeah, I mean, the more skilled fighters he busts, the more volume is he busts, the better striker is he busts, the better takedown defense is he busts, the better takedowns is he busts. So what do you know? Dern's fucking tough. So the 5 round fight actually, I think, also he bust side too because Dern has slowed down in a lot of her fights and huffing and puffing. And he busts, that fight against Rose was razor thin. And
Very
honest to
close.
God, I rewatched that fight too. Fuck, man, I think she won that fight, to be quite honest with you. So, whatever. It is what it is. Rose has got a name, and name fighters win a lot of fights. So, it is what it is. I'm just saying for this fight, minus 200 seems like a little bit of a gift. And you know what? Minus 200, and it's for sure going to go like 3 rounds. I don't know about fourth and fifth. Dern's kind of tired. I guess she could get finished if Hebus goes for it at the end there, because Hebus is known to do that crazy shit and just go for it. But I think over 2.5, maybe over 1.5 with the Hebus is pretty safe here because it's going to go into the later rounds.
Yeah, I agree with almost every single thing you said. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are our predictions for this fight night. In the next day or two, we're going to have the UFC 311 video up too. That's a big card coming up next weekend. I'm very excited for that. So we're going to drop that very shortly. Look out for that one. Again, like, subscribe, let us know who your favorite picks are, and good luck, and may we all win. Have a good one, guys.